Today we are going to talk about that how the glycogen synthesis and glycogen breakdown mechanisms are regulated in our body. Is that right? You know that glycogen synthesis and breakdown mainly occurs in two organs. Number one, liver. Number two, muscles. Even though almost every tissue is involved in glycogen synthesis and breakdown, but mainly this process occurs in liver and muscle. So let's see that how this process of glycogen metabolism is regulated in liver and how it is regulated in muscle. Right? Let's suppose I draw here your liver. You have a mega liver here, and here is a muscle. The regulation of glycogen metabolism in the muscle and liver is slightly different, right? Now, as you know from previous lecture, that when glucose enters in a liver cell, right, when a glucose enters in a liver cell, glucose convert first of all into, yes, but glucokinase convert into glucose 6-phosphate. Let's suppose here was your glucose, and glucose convert into glucose, yes, 6-phosphate, and glucose 6-phosphate convert into glucose, yes, 1-phosphate. And then next step, glucose 1-phosphate convert into, very good, glucose UDP, right? And then there are enzymes, glycogen synthase and branching enzyme. They work repeatedly and eventually make, yes, glycogen. Is that right? So this is synthetic pathway, right? And when glycogen is going to break down, right, the enzymes which are concerned with glycogen breakdown, mainly which are two enzymes? Yes, glycogen phosphorylase and debranching enzyme, and most of the molecules of glucose are broken down to glucose 1-phosphate. So this is the basic mechanism which we have discussed in detail last time, the glycogen synthetic pathway and glycogen breakdown pathway. Now, glycogen synthesis and breakdown can be regulated by regulating enzymes, right? Now, the most regulated enzyme in the pathway of glycogen synthesis is, who is going to tell me what is the most important enzyme which is very well regulated in the glycogen synthesis pathway? Yes, who is going to tell me? Please. That is glycogen synthase. Very good. So most important enzyme which is well regulated on glycogen synthetic pathway is glycogen synthase, right? That is glycogen synthase. Glycogen synthase, right? That is most regulated enzyme, and you remember this enzyme is responsible to add the glycosyl units on the glycogen chains and elongate them. Is that right? Now this enzyme, which is glycogen synthase, this is the most regulated enzyme on the synthetic pathway, right? And on the glycogen breakdown pathway, which is, yes, glycogen breakdown pathway, which is also called glycogenolysis. In this pathway, the most regulated enzyme is, who is going to tell me on this side? Glycogen phosphorylase, right? Let me make a diagram a little bigger. Glycogen phosphorylase on this side, right? And okay, here I draw the glycogen phosphorylase. You remember this enzyme which we were calling as phosphobird. We were calling this enzyme phosphobird, right? Glycogen phosphorylase, right? This was the enzyme, most regulated enzyme in glycogen breakdown. So if someone asks, what are the two most important enzymes in glycogen metabolism? On synthesis, this is glycogen synthase. In breakdown, this is glycogen phosphorylase. Now it's very easy to understand. All those factors which stimulate glycogen synthesis will increase. And all those factors which stimulate the glycogen phosphorylase, glycogen breakdown will increase. Is that right? Now, glycogen metabolism is regulated by two mechanisms. Regulation of glycogen metabolism. Number one is by those molecules which determine the substrate level. For example, if glucose is too much in the cell or glucose 6-phosphate is too much in the cell, synthesis should continue. You are understanding? If glucose 6-phosphate is very less in the cell, it means breakdown should continue. So these molecules or metabolites are called substrates. Now, what are the factors which regulate these enzymes? Number one is, yes, substrate molecules, and number two, energy signals. For example, if ATP is in very high concentration in the cell, it means cell is energy rich. Then cell should be storing the glucose as glycogen. But if ATP is very low, right, and AMP, especially in the muscle, if AMP level is very high, that signals low energy status, then glucose should be broken, glycogen should be broken. So it means one way to regulate these enzymes is by substrate molecule concentration and by energy signals in the cell. And what really happened that these substrate molecules like glucose or glucose 6-phosphate, right, such molecules or energy signals like ATP or AMP, they can bind to these enzymes. These molecules can bind to these enzymes non-covalently and alter the function of this enzyme. Right? I will tell you later how. Right? For example, if glucose 6-phosphate is very high in the cell, this will be altered. Its structure will be altered. Glucose 6-phosphate will bind with this and change its structure. This change in structure is called allosteric change. So what happened that in the cell, substrate molecules or energy level signaling molecule can bind with these important enzymes and alter the structure of these enzymes, and when structure of these enzymes is altered, the function of these enzymes is altered. Such type of activity, such type of regulation of enzymes is called allosteric regulation, right? So these enzymes can be regulated allosterically, or such molecules are called allosteric regulators, right? Allosteric regulators. These substrate molecule or energy signals can allosterically bind to these enzymes and allosterically or structurally or three-dimensionally alter these enzymes to change their function. And you have to remember that allosteric molecules like substrate molecules and energy signaling molecules bind to these enzymes non-covalently. Is that right? So one way to regulate the glycogen metabolism is by altering the function of the enzymes by influence of allosteric regulators. And other mechanism is, yes, what is the other mechanism? Who will tell me? Hormonal regulation. Yes, other mechanism is hormonal regulation. As all of you know that when your blood glucose level is down, glucagon goes up, epinephrine goes up, and high level of glucagon or epinephrine can change the glycogen metabolism. Or when blood level of glucose are high, then insulin level goes up, and in high level of insulin, as we will discuss later, also change the metabolism of glycogen, right? So first in this lecture we will talk about allosteric regulators, and second part of the lecture we will talk about the hormonal regulation of glycogen metabolism. Now when we talk about allosteric regulator, rather than just cramming or memorizing, let's make some logical thinking. Let us suppose you have taken carbohydrate rich meal, right? You have taken food which is very rich in carbohydrate. A lot of glucose is absorbed from the gut, and through the portal circulation, a lot of glucose is going to the liver. Is that right? Now, in the liver cells, glucose will be entering in high concentration or low concentration? High concentration. When a lot of glucose is entering, when a lot of glucose is going into liver cells or hepatocytes, glucose concentration will become high. When glucose concentration will be high, it is very natural to understand that glucose 6-phosphate concentration will be also high. Good. So these boys know that when you have taken, what is this? Carbohydrate rich meal, right? Lot of glucose may be coming, right, from the GIT to the liver, and if in the blood glucose level is high and more glucose is entering into, yes, liver, in the liver cell glucose concentration will be high and glucose will be converting into glucose 6-phosphate by enzyme called glucokinase, and glucose 6-phosphate concentration will be high. These two molecules are allosteric regulator. They must change function of these enzymes in such a way that synthesis should increase and breakdown should decrease. Of course, when you have a lot of glucose in the cell, in the liver cell, it means there's a lot of glucose in the blood. Remember, liver cells have glucose transporter type 2, and glucose transporter type 2 in the liver cell allow the glucose to freely move in and out. So whenever blood glucose level goes up, hepatocyte glucose level goes up. If blood glucose level goes down, hepatocyte glucose level goes down. So whenever blood glucose level is high, hepatocyte glucose level is high, glucose 6-phosphate level is high. This is a time to store the glucose as glycogen, and this is not the time to break down the glycogen into glucose. Do you agree? So it means these molecules should increase glycogen synthesis and decrease glycogen breakdown. It means such molecules should be positive regulator of glycogen synthase and negative regulator of glycogen phosphorylase. So what really happened, the most important of this is your friend, what is this? Glucose 6-phosphate. Glucose 6-phosphate will stick over here. Glucose 6-phosphate. And when glucose 6-phosphate stick to this monkey will become inhibited or stimulated. Use your common sense. Can it rest now? No. So glucose 6-phosphate will interact with this monkey enzyme in such a way it will become more active. And when it will become more active, glycogen synthesis will be increased. Opposite to that, same glucose 6-phosphate will also interact with, what is this? Glycogen phosphorylase. But when it will interact with this, it will actually interact in a very special way. Look at it. This is glucose 6 phosphate. Glucose 6 phosphate will bind to this area. And do you think now this can work? No. So glycogen breakdown mechanisms will be inhibited. So glucose 6 phosphate is increased in the hepatocyte when our blood glucose level is high. And it is binding to glycogen synthase in such a way that glycogen synthase is activated and it binds with the glycogen phosphorylase in such a way that that is inhibited. Not only glucose 6 phosphate bind here, but glucose itself also binds here. Okay, we can put it here that this is glucose. Glucose can bind here, this is a glucose molecule and inhibit. Plus, what was the second one? Glucose 6 phosphate. Glucose 6 phosphate. So we can see that glucose and glucose 6 phosphate, both when their concentration increase in hepatocyte, these molecules stick to the glycogen phosphorylase and inhibit its activity. Does it make some logical sense or not? Yes. It's very natural. And under these circumstances, when in the hepatocyte, glucose is entering in high concentration and glucose 6 phosphate is more, some of you may be knowing glucose 6 phosphate can go into glycolysis pathway. Glucose 6 phosphate can also enter into glycolysis pathway and eventually enter into Krebs cycle. You know Krebs cycle? And produce lot of ATP. So it means that when glucose is entering into hepatocytes, not only glucose level go up, not only glucose 6 phosphate level go up, even energy production become more in hepatocytes and ATP levels go up. And if ATP levels are going up, into the cell, do you think this is a time to store the glucose or to break down the glycogen? Store the glucose as glycogen. And when ATP levels are high in the hepatocyte, this is an energy signal. That cell has a high energy status and there's no need to break down glycogen. And if there's no need to break down the glycogen, then glycogen breakdown should be inhibited. And if glycogen breakdown is needed to be inhibited, then what should happen? Another allosteric regulator, what is this now? ATP. ATP will also bind here with the which enzyme? Glycogen phosphorylase, and this will be negatively regulated and glycogen breakdown will be inhibited. So all this discussion is making some sense or not? It's so easy that whenever blood level of glucose is going up, more glucose is entering into hepatocyte, more glucose will allosterically negatively regulate the glycogen phosphorylase. More glucose is converted into glucose 6 phosphate. Glucose 6 phosphate will positively regulate the glycogen synthase and negatively regulate the glycogen phosphorylase. And moreover, when glucose 6 phosphate levels are high, cell will generate more ATP, and this signals that there is a high level of not only substrate but high level of energy in the cell that will also negatively regulate, what is this funny guy? Glycogen phosphorylase. And all these things are the negative regulators. So in the presence of high level of glucose in the blood, in the liver, allosteric regulators are working in such a way that glycogen synthesis is increased and glycogen breakdown is decreased, and progressively glycogen stores in the liver increase. Am I clear? Now I will talk about the glycogen metabolism, how it is regulated by allosteric effectors or regulators in muscle. The regulation of glycogen metabolism in the muscle is slightly different. Let me show how. First, we discuss the basics. In the muscle, glucose enter. Especially you remember, glucose enter in muscle in high concentration when blood glucose level is high, and insulin push the glucose into muscle because muscle have different glucose transporters. Some of you may be knowing that glucose transporter in the muscle is type 4. Glucose transporter type 4. This is regulated by insulin. When insulin concentration is high, then muscle cell membrane has more glucose transporters. When insulin concentration in the blood is low, then muscle cell membranes have less concentration of glucose transporters. So, all of you must be knowing that whenever blood glucose level is high, insulin is released from beta cells of pancreas. And this insulin acts in many tissues, including the muscle, skeletal muscles, and increase the expression of GLUT4, glucose type 4 transporters, and more glucose is entering in. When more glucose is entering in, remaining story you understand. When more glucose is coming here, you know that glucose, yes, glucose will go into glucose 6 phosphate into glucose 1 phosphate into, yes, UDP glucose, yes, and then into glycogen. Is that right? And again the same mechanism is here, that glycogen can be broken down. The most important enzyme here is same as in the liver. Most of the glycogen break down into glucose 1 phosphate. In last lecture we have discussed that glycogen phosphorylase releases the glucose as glucose 1 phosphate, and debranching enzyme releases glucose as glucose. Anyway, again, what is the most important enzyme here? Yes, what is this? Glycogen right? Glycogen synthase, right? It is going to do the synthesis of glycogen. And again, in similar way, in breakdown mechanism, right? What was the enzyme here? Yes. This is glycogen phosphorylase. Is that right? As it was here. There is glycogen synthase, glycogen phosphorylase. In the muscle also, there is glycogen synthase and glycogen phosphorylase. Even though there is slight difference in muscles glycogen phosphorylase and liver glycogen phosphorylase, but they have the same function. Why I mention this? Because in some patients, there are some diseases, muscle glycogen phosphorylase is defective. And later on I will tell you there are some other diseases in which liver glycogen phosphorylase is defective. Anyway, we'll see how in the muscle glycogen breakdown is and synthesis is regulated. Now, this is glycogen phosphorylase. A very important thing is that glycogen phosphorylase is influenced by another enzyme. Right? Glycogen phosphorylase is influenced by another enzyme. The other enzyme can also stimulate it. Right? And let me show you that enzyme. This is another enzyme. Of course, this enzyme is not only present in the muscle, this other enzyme is also present in the liver. But at this moment, it was not relevant here, so I did not mention in the liver, but you will see it is important in allosteric regulation of muscle. Now, this enzyme, when this enzyme is activated, it adds phosphate to glycogen phosphorylase. It means this is an enzyme, this duck is an enzyme which can put a phosphate on this bird, right? So what should be the name of this duct? Remember, any enzyme, this enzyme which is putting phosphate on other enzyme, it means it is doing kinase activity. This should be called kinase. For example, if I put phosphate on your head, then I'm doing which activity? I'm doing kinase activity. So in the same way, this enzyme is capable of phosphorylating glycogen phosphorylase. So this enzyme has which activity? Yes, please. Kinase activity. This enzyme has kinase activity. But this kinase activity by this enzyme is done on which enzyme? Glycogen phosphorylase. So what should be the name of this enzyme? This enzyme should be called glycogen phosphorylase kinase. What should be name of this enzyme? Glycogen phosphorylase kinase. And what is this? Glycogen phosphorylase. Again listen, because sometimes it confuses the student. These two are different enzymes, right? But they are linked in some, functionally they are linked. Glycogen phosphorylase adds phosphate to the glucose units of glycogen. So it phosphorylates glycosyl units in glycogen. But glycogen phosphorylase kinase phosphorylates glycogen phosphorylase. In many books, they don't mention this glycogen name. They simply call it that this is phosphorylase enzyme, this is phosphorylase enzyme, and this is phosphorylase kinase. Am I clear? There's no confusion about this. Once you have learned this, now we talk about how in the muscle allosteric regulators alter the activity of these enzymes. Few things which are common are, number one, glucose 6-phosphate. Glucose 6-phosphate work in the muscle in the same way as glucose 6-phosphate work in the liver. You remember in the liver, glucose 6-phosphate was stimulating this monkey, right? So here it is doing the same thing, glucose 6-phosphate. So glucose 6-phosphate can, whenever glucose enters in higher concentration in muscle, glucose 6-phosphate is in higher concentration, and high concentration of glucose 6-phosphate lead to some of these molecules to stick to the glycogen synthase, and it becomes activated, and it becomes activated. And when it becomes activated, glycogen synthetic process increases. At the same time, glucose 6-phosphate, as in the liver, in the same fashion, it also binds, yes, what is this? Glucose 6-phosphate. So glucose 6-phosphate also bind with glycogen phosphorylase, and it is regulating it positively or negatively? Negatively. Inhibit the activity of this. So it's very natural. So up to now, this glucose 6-phosphate is regulating the synthetic enzyme and degradative enzymes in the same fashion in the muscle as they are doing in the liver. As you know from previous discussion that when glucose 6-phosphate is more, some of these molecules will enter into which pathway? Glycolysis pathway, and then enter into Krebs cycle and produce a lot of ATP. And this tells cell has high level of energy. And when cell is having high level of energy, then do you think we should break down glycogen or we should not break down glycogen? We should not. So ATP molecules derived from here also come and stick to, what is this? Glycogen phosphorylase, and regulated positively or negatively? Right? They regulated negatively. Now look, up to now whatever discussion I have done, it is same for the muscle and liver. Now the first difference comes. You remember in the liver, glucose was negative regulator for glycogen phosphorylase. In the muscle, glucose is not negative regulator here. Is that right? In the muscle, glucose, high concentration of glucose does not negatively regulate. What really negative regulate is, yes, glucose 6-phosphate and ATP. This is one difference. Then there are some very important differences. When muscles are going to work, they need less energy or more energy. And when muscles are going to work or they're working, they need more energy. They should synthesize glycogen or they should break down glycogen? Yes, muscles should break down the glycogen into glucose 1-phosphate and 6-phosphate, so that this glycogen supplies lot of glucose 6-phosphate, which should produce ATP for the muscle contraction. Is that right? So it means when muscles contraction is activated, at the same time glycogen breakdown should be also activated. Whenever muscles contraction activate, something should happen within the muscle cell to activate the glycogenolysis, so that simultaneously there is breakdown. As muscles start contracting, glycogen in the muscle start breaking down, and in anticipation of utilization of more energy, more ATP should be produced. Now how this is coordinated in muscle cell? And of course this mechanism is not required in liver cells, in hepatocytes. Now what are these mechanisms? Let me tell you. When a muscle is stimulated, right, what happens? That neuromuscular junction release acetylcholine, and there are nicotinic receptor here. You know these things or not? You will come to know anyway if you don't know, right? That nerve, of course, muscles are stimulated by the nerves, and nerve is releasing here acetylcholine. Acetylcholine bind with nicotinic receptor, which bring in sodium, and this membrane undergo depolarization, and this local depolarization stimulate the wave of depolarization on the muscle. When muscle membrane, sarcolemma of the muscle, right, it undergoes depolarization process, it triggers the release of calcium from sarcoplasmic reticulum. You remember T tubules? So what really happens when muscles are undergoing contraction, then from the T tubular system or from sarcoplasmic reticulum, what is released here? Lot of calcium. What is released here? Lot of calcium. Now calcium has many functions in the muscle. One function every student know. When calcium is released from sarcoplasmic reticulum, this calcium will help in interaction of actin-myosin mechanisms and produce muscle contraction. All of you know that. And during that process, ATP is utilized. You know that? So let's put it here. So when this calcium comes in, this is, let's suppose, your actin-myosin mechanisms, right? And when calcium will come, it will interact with actin-myosin machinery and lead to contraction. Is that right? And during this process, when calcium is leading to contractile machinery activation, what is utilized here? ATP. And that ATP will break down into, yes, ATP, which is utilized here, will break down into ADP. And two molecules of ADP, right, they are added together and produced one ATP plus one AMP. This is very important. ATP is breaking down into ADP, adenosine diphosphate, and ADP, right, two molecules are interacting with each other, and this ADP will transfer one phosphate here. You will get another ATP to be utilized, but this will be converted into AMP. So as muscle will contract, the level of ATP will go down and AMP will go up. These are the molecules which are signaling the energy status of the cell. It's very easy to understand that when muscles are contracting, when ATP levels are going down, there's less ATP to inhibit this. it will become active. Is that right? Not only this, there is more AMP. There is more AMP. And AMP molecules, right? This AMP molecules, this is very important molecule, I want to highlight it, AMP. The levels of AMP will be high in the muscle when muscles are contracting, especially under hypoxic conditions and oxygen is less. Now, do you think when level of AMP in the muscle goes up, it is telling that energy level of the muscle is high or low? If energy level is low, glycogen should be stored or broken down. Of course, glycogen should be broken down to produce glucose 6-phosphate, which should enter into energy generating mechanisms. Is that right? Now, so this AMP will signal, what is this? Right? Glycogen phosphorylase, and it will stimulate glycogen phosphorylase. And when it will stimulate the glycogen phosphorylase, glycogen breakdown will be increased. Now it's so easy to understand. Listen, when you start physical activity, number one, in the muscles you want more ATP generation. So glucose 6-phosphate will shunt to this side. So glucose 6-phosphate in the muscle will become less. So stimulation to synthetic process will become less, and inhibition to breakdown process will also become less. So breakdown processes will be activated, number one. Number two, ATP will become less. So further effect will be that ATP mediated inhibition of this enzyme will be reduced, right? So in a contracting muscle, glucose 6-phosphate levels are going down, ATP levels are going down, so there is less allosteric inhibition of glycogen phosphorylase. At the top, AMP levels are going up, and they are stimulating, they are positively regulating this, and that will lead to increased function of, what is this thing? Glycogen phosphorylase. Am I clear? Plus, this calcium which is coming in, it will bind with another very special type of protein, right? And this protein is called calcium binding protein. Calcium binding protein is calbindin, right? So what really happened, some of these calcium, right, they are binding with another protein complex, and this is called calmodulin. What is this? Calmodulin. Calmodulin is a protein which is modulated by calcium. Calmodulin is a protein, calmodulin is a protein which is modulated by calcium. When calcium binds with calmodulin, this complex, right, calcium calmodulin complex goes and fixes into where? Yes, you can tell me where it is fixing. It is fixing with which enzyme? Phosphorylase kinase. And it fixes in such a way that it looks as if it is the part of this enzyme. Some people believe this calmodulin is one of the peptide of this enzyme. And as soon as it gets the calcium, when muscles start contracting, calcium is increased in the cytosol, it binds with this peptide, calcium with this peptide, calmodulin, stick to the, what is it? Protein kinase. It will become inhibited or stimulated. It will become stimulated, and when it is stimulated, it is very angry, it will bite. Yes, it will bite glycogen phosphorylase and put a phosphate here. And do you think it will be inhibited or stimulated? It will be also stimulated, and glycogen breakdown will increase. Is that right? Now these two mechanisms, that calcium dependent, calcium calmodulin mediated, right, stimulatory mechanism, stimulating protein, what is this? Stimulating phosphorylase kinases, and phosphorylase kinases are stimulating, what is this? glycogen phosphorylases, and then glycolysis is increasing. This specific pathway is especially important in the muscle. It is not present in the liver. In the liver, calcium also stimulates some of the glycogen related mechanism, but that is a different pathway. Now we have learned that allosteric regulators in the muscle are slightly different than in liver. In the muscle, there are two things additional. Number one is AMP mediated stimulation of glycogen phosphorylase, which is not present in liver, but it is present in muscle. Number two, calcium colmodulin dependent stimulation of phosphorylase kinase, and eventually leading to glycogen phosphorylase stimulation and leading to stimulation of glycolysis. This is not present in the liver. It's very logical. Liver cells don't contract the way muscle contract. So contraction dependent activation of glycolysis in the muscle is mediated by rising AMP level and increasing concentration of calcium colmodulin complexes. Am I clear? Any question here? So this is what we have discussed, that glycogen metabolism in muscle, in liver and muscle can be regulated by allosteric regulators. Allosteric regulators may be substrate molecule like glucose, glucose 6-phosphate, yes, and or they may be energy signals like ATP molecules and AMP molecules. Now, I will put some question to you. Yes, glucose 6-phosphate in the liver stimulate which enzyme? Glycogen synthase. Say it loudly. Glucose 6-phosphate stimulate which enzyme in the liver? Glycogen synthase. Glucose 6-phosphate stimulate which enzyme in the muscle? Glycogen synthase. And glucose 6-phosphate inhibits which enzyme in liver and muscle? Glycogen phosphorylase. Right? ATP inhibit which enzyme in liver and muscle? Glycogen phosphorylase. And glucose inhibit which enzyme in liver? Glycogen phosphorylase. And a high level of ATP inhibit which enzyme in the liver and muscle? Glycogen phosphorylase. It's very easy to understand. And rising AMP level in the muscles activate which enzyme? Glycogen phosphorylase. And rising level of calcium colmodulin complex in the muscle activate which enzyme in the muscle? Phosphorylase kinase, which lead to phosphorylation of glycogen phosphorylase, which lead to phosphorylation of glycoside residues in glycogen chains and producing glucose 1-phosphate. Is that right? Now, in a cell, glucose level is going up, glucose 6-phosphate level is going up, energy levels are high, glycogenesis will be stimulated or glycogenolysis will be stimulated? Glycogenesis will be stimulated. In a cell, glucose level is going down, glucose 6-phosphate level is going down in a muscle cell. ATP levels are down and AMP levels are high. Which process is stimulated? Glycogenolysis. So let's have a break, and after that we'll discuss about the hormonal regulation of glycogen metabolism. Class dismissed.